Taurus, there's something incredibly disturbing happening right under your nose, right in your own home, in your inner circle. Someone in your family, yes, your very own family, can't sleep well thinking about your achievements. They can't feel genuine joy for your victories. They feel a tightness in their chest every time you shine. And the most painful part of all this is that you, in your innocence and natural generosity, are probably still trying to include this person, make them feel special, share your achievements with them, without realizing that every gesture of love you make is fueling a silent monster called envy. I'm not talking about admiration. I'm not talking about healthy sibling competition. I'm talking about a toxic, visceral envy that corrodes from within and manifests itself in destructive behaviors disguised as family care. This person looks at you and sees everything they couldn't be. They see your emotional stability, which they never developed. They see your ability to build lasting things while they only destroy. They see how people naturally gravitate toward them while they have to beg for attention. And you know what's even crueler? You're not even doing anything extraordinary. You're just being you. But that, Taurus, is precisely the problem. Your authentic existence, your natural way of being, your calm way of dealing with life, your ability to transform any space into a more beautiful and welcoming place. All of this is a constant affront to someone who lives in internal chaos and cannot create anything of lasting value. The envy many people feel toward you doesn't stem from anything you do. It stems from who you are at your core. And when that envy comes from within your own family, the poison is even more powerful because it has privileged access to your most vulnerable moments, your unfulfilled dreams, your insecurities that you only share with those you consider safe. Have you ever noticed how there's someone in your family who always has a negative comment disguised as concern, who always finds fault when you're happy about an achievement, who seems physically uncomfortable when others praise you in front of them, who quickly changes the subject when you share good news? This person isn't just having a bad day, they're being eaten away by envy of you. Family envy is especially devastating because it attacks one of your most sacred values, family as a safe haven. As a Taurus, you deeply value family ties. You invest time, energy, emotional and material resources in your family. You believe that family is forever, that blood is stronger than any other bond. And when you discover that someone within this sacred circle is secretly rooting against you, the ground disappears from under your feet. But why are so many people jealous of you, Taurus? Let me be brutally honest, because you can do something most people can't. You can be truly happy. Not the kind of social media performing happiness, the genuine happiness that comes from appreciating the simple things, from building slowly but surely, from having the patience to see your projects blossom, from not needing constant external validation to feel valuable. You have this rare ability to transform limited resources into real abundance. Not ostentatious abundance, but the kind of wealth you feel. A cozy home, deep relationships, a life that has substance and meaning. While others are constantly chasing the next new thing, the next upgrade, the next validation, you are there, planting roots, building something that will last, creating beauty wherever you are. Your emotional stability is another huge source of envy. You don't panic easily. You don't live from drama to drama. You have an impressive ability to remain calm when everything around you is chaotic. This deeply bothers people, especially those who use chaos as a way to get attention or manipulate situations. Your inner peace is a cruel mirror for those who live in constant war with themselves. And your loyalty, Taurus, your ability to love deeply and lastingly, this also arouses envy. We live in a world where people change relationships like they change clothes, where commitment is seen as imprisonment, where loyalty is considered naivete. And there you are, proving that it's possible to create genuine and lasting bonds, that it's possible to be faithful not out of obligation but by choice, that it's possible to love maturely and responsibly. This deeply bothers those who can't keep anything or anyone close. Your natural aesthetic sense is another source of envy. You have a gift for creating beauty effortlessly. Your home is beautiful even without much money. Your appearance is harmonious even without following every trend. You have intuitive good taste, and this deeply irritates people who spend fortunes trying to buy into a style you naturally possess. Your ability to work hard also inspires envy, not the frantic, anxious kind of work you experience constantly in a rush, but the kind of consistent, patient, determined work that yields solid results over time. You don't give up easily. You don't jump from project to project seeking instant gratification. You commit, persevere, and reap the rewards of your persistence. This is unbearable for those who give up at the first hurdle. Your genuine generosity is perhaps what arouses the most envy. You give without ulterior motives. You help without expecting to be glorified. You share your resources naturally. And this exposes the pettiness of people who only do things for others when there's an audience, or when they expect something in return. Your authentic kindness is a spotlight on other people's deceit. Taurus, as you absorb these words, you're probably remembering specific situations where you felt a strange energy coming from someone in your family. Moments when you noticed a look that wasn't one of genuine joy at your successes. Comments that seemed like compliments but left a bitter taste in your mouth. Awkward silences when you shared good news. I need you to stop right now and acknowledge what you're feeling. Because this pain is real, this confusion makes sense, and maybe no one has ever fully validated what you're perceiving, making you question whether you're being paranoid or overreacting. Leave a comment now saying, I know exactly what it's like to feel jealous from the people who should be supporting me. It's not just a comment. It's you honoring your own perception. It's you stopping minimizing what you feel. It's you acknowledging that your experience is valid and real. And when you do this, you're giving courage to other Tauruses who are going through the same painful silence, helping them understand that they are not alone in this confusing and hurtful experience. Right now, your truth matters. Your pain deserves to be acknowledged, and you don't have to carry it alone anymore. Now let's talk about who specifically in your family is feeling this toxic envy toward you. And here's where it gets even more painful, because I'll give you specific signs that you're probably already noticing but trying to ignore, because accepting the truth means accepting that someone you love sees you as competition instead of family. For Taurus is born between April 20th and April 30th. Envy most likely comes from a brother or sister, someone who grew up alongside you and who was always compared to you. For those born between May 1st and 10th, beware of a mother figure or an aunt, someone from a previous generation who expected you to fail in certain ways and was disturbed when you thrive. For those born between May 11th and 20th, watch out for cousins or in-laws, people who have entered the family and feel threatened by your position or influence. The signs of this familial envy are subtle but consistent. The envious person always finds a way to minimize your achievements. If you bought a house, they'll comment on how the neighborhood isn't so great. If you got a promotion, they'll mention how work will likely stress you out. If you're happily in a relationship, they'll plant subtle doubts about your partner. She also has a strange tendency to forget to invite you to family events or accidentally leave out important information. Not because she actually forgot, but because every moment you're not there is a moment she can shine without your shadow. Notice how this person talks about you when you're not around. If you have other family members who tell you things, you've probably heard that they have a very different version of who you are when they talk behind your back. They distort your qualities into flaws. Your persistence becomes stubbornness. Your stability becomes a lack of ambition. Your inner peace becomes emotional coldness. This person also has the disturbing habit of appropriating your ideas and achievements. They tell your stories as if they were their own. They take your advice and repeat it to others as if it were their own original insights. They copy your style, your choices, your paths, but always with a touch of resentment, because even copying doesn't achieve the same results. Family envy also manifests itself in constant attempts to put you in situations where you might look bad. Invasive questions at family gatherings, comments that expose your moments of vulnerability, seemingly innocent jokes that are actually disguised attacks. Always in front of other people, always in a way that if you react, you'll appear oversensitive or dramatic. She also tries to sabotage your relationships with other family members. She plants doubts about you. She distorts things you've said or done. She creates narratives that portray you as selfish, insensitive, or arrogant, all to isolate you, to diminish the support you receive, so she can feel superior by comparison. What's perhaps most painful is realizing that this envy has existed for years, perhaps since childhood, but you were so focused on being a good family member that you couldn't or wouldn't see it. You rationalized strange behaviors. You justified mean comments as the way she talks. You accepted being treated as less important because you didn't want to create family conflict. Taurus, your tendency is to always try to maintain family harmony. You're willing to diminish yourself, not share your joys, hide your achievements, all to avoid further envying someone you love. But here's the brutal truth. You can't control her feelings. No matter how much you diminish yourself, she'll still feel jealous, because the problem was never what you do. The problem is that you exist as you are. The envy this person feels is not your responsibility to solve. It's not your job to make them feel better about themselves. It's not your obligation to hide your light so they don't feel overshadowed. You don't need to apologize for being stable when they're chaotic, for being happy when they're bitter, for building when they only destroy. What you need to do is set boundaries. Stop sharing your plans and dreams with someone you know isn't rooting for you. Stop seeking validation or approval from someone who's incapable of genuinely giving it to you. Stop trying to prove your worth to someone who's committed to not recognizing it. This doesn't mean you have to completely cut this person out of your life, although in some cases that may be necessary. It does mean you stop giving them privileged access to your emotional life. They can be present at family events, but you don't have to open your heart to them. You can be polite and cordial, but you don't have to be vulnerable and authentic. You also need to stop trying to change or fix this person. They need to do their own inner work to deal with the envy and insecurity they feel. You are not responsible for their healing. In fact, the more you try to help, the more you perpetuate a dynamic where they can continue to be the victim of your advantages. Protect your achievements. Don't hide them out of shame or fear of arousing envy, but also don't flaunt them unnecessarily to people you know will react negatively. Celebrate with those who genuinely rejoice with you. Share with people who multiply your joy rather than diminish it. Understand also that this person's envy is destroying them far more than it's affecting you. While you continue building your life, they're trapped in a cycle of bitterness and resentment that prevents them from creating anything meaningful in their own life. Envy is a self-imposed prison where they are simultaneously the prisoner and the guardian. Taurus, there's something liberating about accepting that not everyone in your family will root for you. That blood ties don't guarantee genuine support, that you can love someone from afar without sacrificing yourself in the relationship. When you stop trying to force authentic connections with envious people, you free up energy to invest in relationships that truly nourish you. Your chosen family, those friends who have become brothers, those who genuinely celebrate your victories, those who support you without ulterior motives, may be more like family than some blood ties, and that's completely valid. You're not betraying your family by setting boundaries with toxic members. You're honoring yourself and the true concept of what family should be. The experience of dealing with family envy will teach you something valuable, that your worth doesn't depend on anyone's recognition, not even your family, that you can remain generous without being naive, that you can keep your heart open without being vulnerable to attacks from those who don't deserve access to your privacy. You'll also learn to recognize envy more quickly in other contexts. You'll develop a sensitivity to detect when someone is genuinely happy for you versus when they're just pretending. You'll become more selective about who you share your joys and dreams with. And this isn't being closed off or suspicious, it's being wise and protective of your own energy. The process of setting boundaries with an envious family member can create ripples in the family dynamic. Other members may not understand. They may accuse you of being cold or distant. They may try to convince you to be the bigger person and ignore toxic behaviors. Don't give in to this pressure. Your peace of mind is worth more than a false family harmony built on your constant diminishment. Over time, you'll notice something interesting. When you stop feeding the envious dynamic, when you establish clear boundaries, the envious person can react in one of two ways. Either they'll eventually start to respect you more because they realize you're no longer an easy target, or they'll back away because they can no longer derive the unhealthy satisfaction from putting you down. In both cases, you win. Taurus, I want you to understand something fundamental. The qualities that arouse envy in you are precisely the ones that make you special and valuable. Don't hide them, don't diminish them, don't apologize for them. Keep being stable, keep building, keep creating beauty, keep being loyal to those who deserve it. Keep working hard, keep being generous to those who honor your generosity. Other people's envy isn't a reflection of who you are, it's a reflection of the inner emptiness of the person experiencing it. You don't need to become less so that others feel greater. You don't need to fail so that others feel successful. You don't need to be unhappy so that others feel less miserable. Keep shining, but with discernment. Keep building, but with protection. Keep loving, but with limits. Keep being yourself, but with wisdom about who deserves access to your true life. If this message touched you deeply, if you recognize specific situations and people while reading, that's validation. Your perceptions were correct. Your feelings weren't paranoia. You're truly dealing with family envy, and now you have the language to name what you've always felt but couldn't express. Share in the comments your experience of recognition and liberation as you understood what was really happening. You don't have to expose anyone or give compromising details. Just acknowledge your truth and reclaim your power to set healthy boundaries. Subscribe to the channel because you'll need constant reminders of your worth, especially when jealous family members try to make you doubt it. You'll need regular validation that setting boundaries isn't selfish. You'll need strategies to handle difficult family situations while maintaining your integrity. Turn on notifications so you don't miss content that will continue to strengthen you on this journey of self-protection and self-love. Your light bothers those who choose to live in darkness, and that's not your problem. Keep shining, Taurus. The world needs your stability, your ability to create beauty, your genuine loyalty. Just be more careful about who you allow into your sacred garden. Not everyone deserves to be there.